Good morning, everyone. I hope you're keeping well and things are going okay for you. Again, just to say, if you're in need of any help or you need to chat to anybody, please do get in touch, and we want to try and help you as best we can. I'm going to read from Mark's Gospel, Mark 8, and verses 1 to 21. So it's quite a long reading, but it all kind of it's a collection of things, but it all kind of focuses on one thing. So, Mark 8, beginning at verse 1. In those days, when again a great crowd had gathered and they had nothing to eat, he called his disciples to him and said to them, I have compassion on the crowd, because they've been with me now 3 days and have nothing to eat. And if I send them away hungry to their homes, they will faint on the way, and some of them have come from far away. His disciples answered him, How can one feed these people with bread here in this desolate place? And he asked them, How many loaves do you have? They said, 7. And he directed the crowd to sit down on the ground, and he took the 7 loaves, and having given thanks, he broke them and gave them to his disciples to set before the people. And they set them before the crowd, and they had a few small fish. And having blessed them, he said that these also should be set before them. And they ate and were satisfied. And they took up the broken pieces left over, 7 baskets full, and there were about 4,000 people. And he sent them away, and immediately he got into the boat with his disciples and went to the district of Dalmanutha. The Pharisees came and began to argue with him, seeking from him a sign from heaven to test him. And he sighed deeply in his spirit and said, Why does this generation seek a sign? Truly I say to you, no sign will be given to this generation. And he left them, got into the boat again, and went to the other side. Now they'd forgotten to bring bread, and they had only 1 loaf with them in the boat. And he cautioned them, saying, Watch out, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the leaven of Herod. They began discussing with one another the fact that they had no bread. And Jesus, aware of this, said to them, Why are you discussing the fact that you have no bread? Do you not yet perceive or understand? Are your hearts hardened? Having eyes, do you not see? And having ears, do you not hear? And do you not remember? When I broke the 5 loaves for the 5,000, how many baskets full of broken pieces did you take up? They said to him, 12. And 7 for the 4,000. How many baskets full of broken pieces did you take up? And they said to him, 7. And he said to them, Do you not yet understand? Or do you ever experience deja vu? You know, that feeling that you've been here before, you've seen this before, you kind of you know your way, or you instinctively know your way around because you think, this place is familiar to me, but I can't think from where. Well, that's this passage, isn't it? That's what this passage feels like. The feeling that you've been here before. It's a kind of it is a deja vu experience. Okay. There are repetitions here. There are things that have happened already in the Gospels, and it should feel like that. It should feel like that. What do we have here in this passage that we've read? We have another feeding miracle. 4,000 people this time, 5,000 the last. We have another encounter with the Pharisees trying to test him and prod him and treat him like a scientific experiment or possibly an entertainment act. We have more boat journeys on Galilee. So it all seems very familiar territory. It all seems maybe even just a wee bit repetitive. And you get the feeling that it seems a wee bit repetitive to Jesus too. If you could sum up Jesus' kind of questions to his disciples at the end of the passage, it would be, do you still not get it? Do you still not get it? There's this kind of frustration that we've seen or commented on before in Jesus, that these disciples are here, they're seeing everything going on, they're hearing everything that he's saying, and they're still not understanding. Having eyes they don't see, having ears they don't hear. And he cautions them, and he says, look, Don't be distracted by the things around you. Don't be distracted by looking for the same signs that the Pharisees are looking for. Because all they're looking for is the signs. They're not looking for where the signs are pointing to. They're like the infant who doesn't understand that whenever you point at something, they're supposed to look at the thing you're pointing at, not at the finger you're pointing with. They are looking for the signs and not thinking about who it is that the signs point to. And Jesus says to these disciples, don't be like them. And don't be like the Pharisees who let the tradition deafen you to the truth. Don't be like Herod, who lets his desire to be popular or his desire to live the way he wants to live keep you from recognizing the truth that is in me. Focus your thoughts, focus your minds, focus on me, he's saying. Focus on the truth. And what is the truth? What is the truth that Jesus is trying to share with these disciples, that he's desperate for them to know? It is simply that he is all we need. He is who we need in every situation and every time. Jesus is the one who supplies our needs perfectly. When he asks the disciples about the feeding miracles, and he asks them how many baskets full of leftovers were collected after each one, and they say, well, after the 5,000 we picked up 12 baskets, and after the 4,000 we picked up 7. Those numbers in themselves should have rung a bell in the disciples' minds, because those numbers in Hebrew thinking are the numbers of completeness. 7 days that it took God to create the earth. 12 tribes of Israel, they are the numbers of completeness. So what Jesus is saying is that he supplies our needs completely, without lack. He supplies our needs, in fact, overabundantly, because in the feeding miracles they had more than enough. They ended up having more than enough, simply because Jesus had supplied their needs. So he's saying to them, stop looking at the signs. Stop worrying about the signs. Look to me. Stop arguing about trivia and things that don't matter. Like whether you've brought enough bread with you in the boat. Look to me. I am the one who will supply all your needs. And I am the one who will supply all your needs, Jesus says, because of who I am. Because he is God. He is fully equipped, infinitely equipped to supply all of our needs, if only we will look to and trust in him for every day. God bless.